Welcome back. You're still watching Politics Tonight, digging beyond the headlines. Now let's get to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a chartered accountant and former member of the House of Representatives, Kende Odenaye, and Modupe Ajibola will be joining us via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us, Honorable Member.
Good evening.
Now, so yesterday, October 1st, marks the Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary. I'd like us to start with your view about the present state of things in the country.
Yeah, good evening once again. I'm sure that a lot of people expected so much from the president yesterday. Some were disappointed, but some of us are very enthusiastic about the speech and also about the government. Yes, a lot of Nigerians have forgotten where we're coming from, and they tend to believe that things must, be very fast, quicker than it is now. But looking at where we are coming from, I think we need to give the government a little more time to be able to settle down in. Do not also forget that the government is not operating its own budget. The budget is going to be taken to National Assembly probably by October ending, or not before the end of October. So I am very optimistic that anytime in the first quarter of 2024, we will start feeling the effect of this government. Yes, there has been so much, the subsidy removal, the forex exchange issues, and all sort of things. Yes. One thing I want us to know is that there are some people in this country, the president also mentioned it yesterday, there are very few elements that have been feeding fat on forex and subsidy. And I personally think these people will not fold their arms. Definitely they will fight back. And that is exactly what we are witnessing. But with the coming on board of the new CBN governor and his team, and the Minister of Finance, and the coordinating minister, I want to believe that things will start getting stabilized. All the government needs to do is to ensure that the monetary policy, which the president also promised yesterday, is very stable, and at the same time, it meets with the yearnings of Nigerians. The fiscal policy is already moving. The government has set up a tax team that is looking at the entirety of our tax system, and also with the mind of removing a lot of bottlenecks in our tax system. Multiplicity of taxes is going to be taken care of, and this, I believe, will also encourage a lot of investments. And by the time we start having a lot of investment coming into the country, I believe that we'll start witnessing the stability we expect from this government.
All right. So now I have Modupe Ajibola, a technological expert who is joining us via Zoom. Good evening to you, sir. So yesterday was the president's first Independence Day speech. What are your major takeaways from that speech?
Yeah, so for us, we've been looking at this very closely in the diaspora because economy is the order of the day, and security, of course. We've been really excited to see some of the groundwork being laid down for a more suitable economical engagement with the indigenes, with the whole Nigeria as a whole. So the economy seems to be working for one half of Nigeria, while the other half just seems to be struggling tremendously. So what I heard yesterday that I thought was very, very encouraging was the microfinance strategy to actually put money into the system for these smaller businesses. We think is a great opportunity for small businesses now to begin to coordinate in a manner of which they can actually account for the investments. Every time we hear about this microfinance and small businesses being invested into, the problem we've always seen is that government doesn't have a good way to measure the efficacy of these programs. So for us, we're happy that they're claiming that now they have folks that will be doing some of these things. We encourage them to align with folks that really do know how to granularly train this economic train a lot of this younger entrepreneurs, younger microfinance beneficiaries on how to account for the money they're getting and how to scale their businesses. This, by and large, is going to be a big effort, and it's going to be good. We also like security. We like what we heard about security, sharing information across the security organizations, groups within Nigeria. So that's exciting. So now, hopefully, we wouldn't have to worry whether some security agencies don't have enough information to protect us from any type of harm. Obviously, the proof will be in the pudding of that. What else do we like? We like we heard about the fuel situation and how the president feels like it's a necessary evil. We've been hearing this for a while. Time will tell, but we also feel like there could be some help that is rendered for folks right now to encourage more remote type activities where folks folks that can no longer afford to commute can also still benefit from the economy from wherever they stand. So government can start, certain infrastructural development that would allow remote workers to actually even perform better, so that the streets are not crowded with folks that cannot afford fuel. So those are just some of the thoughts. But we're excited. I think this is great.
Right. So let's talk about the president's comment on democracy in Nigeria. The president affirmed that the rule of law will continue to be the country's guiding light. For you, how crucial is this for the country?
Yeah. First and foremost, let us look at it from this angle. There's this saying that the worst democracy is better than the military rule. But for democracy to thrive, the rule of law is very important. And that is simply to say that there is no one that should be above the law. And where this is respected, definitely democracy will thrive. As it is in Nigeria, and with the coming of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I see a situation where things will be done the way it should be, and the rule of law is going to be respected, even by the president himself. And if you look at the team, even the Attorney General of the Federation, this is someone that has been in this space for a very long time. And this is one of the advocates of rule of law in Nigeria. And I do not expect that we'll have anything different from that his belief in this regime. So rule of law is very important. And I'm very sure that this president is going to uphold it, and it's going to be practiced, and it's going to be preserved.
Right. Let me get Mr. Jibola's thought on this. How crucial is this for the country?
Crucial. Rule of law has to be a necessity, not just word of mouth, to be honest with you. We've seen every administration come and try to institute some kind of confidence in the rule of law. The challenge for Nigerians is that it has to be accountability from the top, which means you have to demonstrate that no one is above the law, like the president said, but you have to actually scapegoat some people to demonstrate that, look, we are showing you that we're not going to let people at the top fool with the law, nor would we allow people at the bottom fool with the law. I think it's crucial for Nigerians to have a confidence in a system that protects their interests. Some of the crimes that people in the local areas examine, and they go to police officers, they go to certain security agencies, unless they're paying to have this security apparatus protect them or serve them, they don't get any service. So you can't just say rule of law when the resources are not there to forbear the interest of the people. So I do believe that this is a great initiative. This is actually a great is a great time for Nigerians to now hold the government accountable for what it's claiming to be offering. And I think the government can do it. It's just the will is there now, but the tools have to join the will so that it can all happen together. But yes, we do believe it's a fantastic initiative, is a fantastic thought, and I'm happy they're talking about it. You see, one of the things that actually appeals to us is that we want a government that talks with us, the people, right? Not just to us. And it's beginning to happen now, where we're seeing them talk with us. Because talking to us is saying, you got to accept whatever crazy things are happening to you. Just accept it. That's your luck. And talking with us is saying, hey, these are the goals we have for you. You are part of that goal, and we hope that you can participate in helping us solve some of these problems. That is the next phase for Nigeria to excel. Some of the things the president also talked about is, he's been talking about diasporans and the need for diasporans to come back home. And what you hear from a lot of those guys is security is an issue. The rule of law and all these things matter significantly to them. So what we hope is that the president takes heed in this echoes of rule of law, but more importantly, go and set up programs to go fetch the best of the best. One of the things that happens to folks when they come to Nigeria for a while is that you lose your core competency. Why? Because you're chasing minors. You become a major and minor. What that means is you're focused on getting from A to B instead of focused on sharpening your skill set. You're now a survivor. And that is tough for most Nigerians. So what we encourage folks to do is to align themselves with folks in other places that are a little easier to continue to grow their knowledge base, so that knowledge base can be applied in Nigeria along with all the initiatives the government has.
Right. So let me stay with you for a minute, Mr. Ajibola. The president mentioned the fact that Nigeria has had 7 cycles of general election. Hence, democracy has come to stay in the country. How much progress have we made with our elections?
I think we've made tremendous progress. I know there's grievances everywhere in most countries, even in America here. For any election, you'll find grievances. But to have a democratically elected government, or even the appearance of it, is still progress in most places, because you find that people need to feel like their voices matter. People need to feel like they're part of a country, as opposed to the country just being forced upon them. I feel like Nigeria has ways to go in ensuring people that the political apparatus are going to work correctly. I think we have ways to go in actually aligning our government with practice, with good practices. I'm not going to lie; it would be disingenuous for any Nigerian to tell you that they're confident in the electoral process, but we do know that it's a growing process. It's an evolving process, and we're grateful whenever we have a leader that actually takes the position, but earns the people's love, earns the people's trust. So, which means, however you got there, does not have to be what you become when you get there. When you get there, you have to do right by the people, and the people will reaffirm you. Their passion for what you're doing would make your legacy last beyond what you can imagine. So it's okay to do the right thing. I ask the Nigerian leaders and the democratically elected leaders, when they get in these positions, don't just be loyal to your stakeholders, to those that got you there. Be loyal to the people, and the people will help you stay there.
Right. So let me come back to the studio. For the president, democracy has come to stay. You're a politician. How much progress can you say we've made in our elections?
Yeah. If you watch closely, since 1999, one thing you realize that our systems have improved beyond what it was before. And that can be evidenced from the number of votes that we had, especially in 2023. In the past, you had votes that were in millions and all sort of things, and you want to wonder how many people actually registered, how many people actually came out to vote and all sort of things. Mm. But with beavers, the introduction of beavers, you realize that the electoral system has improved far, far beyond what it used to be. And that is why, if you look at the various cases that have gone to tribunals, you realize that it has become so easy for even the judges to rule based on what is available on ground, especially with the assistance of beavers and every other thing that has been introduced into our electoral system. Gone are the days when, underaged were voting. Gone are the days when you may not even be a registered voter, and you are going to be allowed to vote. So all those things have gone. And now we have a system, yes, not a perfect system yet, but definitely we have taken a leap beyond where we were coming from, and I expect that we're going to improve upon this. There's nowhere in the whole world that you have a perfect system. You will continue to work on the system, and when it's getting perfect, you also need to move further to another stage. So at the level we are now, we have moved beyond where we were, and our electoral system now can actually stand shoulder to shoulder with many of the advanced country electoral systems.